Make sure everything's coming through. Jake, can you say something? Mm-mm. Um, it was under properties. Now try it, Jake. Why not? There we go. I think it came through now. There we go. I think it came through now. There we go. I think it came through now.
All right, let's see. Test, test.
Yep.
Can you hear me? Sounds like it is.
Can you all hear me? Cool. All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome, Tuesday, January 26th. Can't believe it's almost February already, which is crazy. Welcome to Canvas Admin Hours. I'm joined by Jake Standish, Amy Slack, and lurking in the background is Mr. Sagan Shahaki. I did not call him by his nicknames that we have for him. Looks like my stream might be a little bit blurry. Does it look right for you guys, or is it just my network? He said, "Thanks, buddy." He does
It's
it.
blurry for me too, but Amy's on her awesome network.
It's you. It's fine.
I got Google Fi. Sorry.
I got 5. She's got 5 bird.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah, we've got a few things that we pick on each other for. Mine is the bad network, and Amy's got the opposite end of the script on that. So, welcome to Admin Hours. A light day, but a couple of interesting things. We'll do our reminders as always. We'll look at the new HTML editor that comes out at 2:20. Was that the date I heard?
Yep.
And then show you a little trick or hack, if you will, of custom search engines. It's in a way that we use to navigate Canvas quickly. So first thing, I want to go to the reminders. And as always, webinars can be viewed asynchronously. So I was actually on point today. I've already posted the link. So if you go to today's, I've got the agenda there and link to the correct slide, and it'll be there afterwards. Because I tend to forget, and then I get emails later that I forgot. Other reminders, canvas.cmslearns.org is where we kind of curate some documentation. We tend to pull from the Canvas guides. If you got anything that you're seeing on a regular basis, please let us know. We can add that. And we tend to, if we're going through tickets and we see the same things coming up, we will direct people there and put the resources there. We were just actually talking about this one, the bit.ly/CMS Google account. It is case sensitive as a way to help with resetting your Google logins and try to get it down to one version or one account signed in. So this can cause a lot of havoc and cause account conflict. The j.mp/IT PD office hours form is open 24/7. We've been keeping an eye on it. We know we got 3 in there already. But if you're watching this asynchronously, please feel free to submit that for a question. Remember, that is not for tickets. And remember, when you're submitting questions, please, please, please be mindful of PII. Do not put any email addresses, student ID numbers, any of that kind of stuff in there because we do live stream this. If you're submitting tickets, make sure you are detailed. Give us course URLs. If you're working with staff members and trying to get the information, course URL is the link up top. So please, please, please say, hey, I need the URL. I need the link up in the address bar up top. And we'll cover that a little bit more today. PD course support forms. Amy, how are we doing on that one?
We're doing good. You get a reply pretty quickly. Again, though, it does help to make sure you're submitting through the course. So making sure you're actually in the scenarios, if you have people working through that course, it's actually a little more helpful if they submit from the scenarios themselves. Because then it actually tells me what scenario they're on, and then they don't have to provide me that information in the support form, so I can better troubleshoot for them. So if you're supporting some of your teachers who are working through our courses, that's a great kind of tip, is to have them be in the scenarios when they submit their support form. But we reply really quickly, and I can help all kinds of ways. I'm really good at screenshotting things and putting arrows and telling them how to do it. I promise. I help them.
Well, and the other thing to note too is we're getting near the end of the month. We'll be awarding credit here later in the week at the end of the month. We actually sent out a message yesterday. There were 75 people in Canvas Challenge who have completed the scenarios but did not do the end of course survey inside the Canvas course. This is not the My Talent survey, but it's the third item in each course. Google Drive Challenge, we had 35. So about 105, 110 people might not get credit this month as they expect because they haven't finished the survey that comes after the scenario. So if you're working with people on that, make sure they've done that. PowerSchool changes. Oh, good.
Let me add into that. That doesn't mean that they're never going to get credit. It just means that in this monthly cycle, we only give credit if you finish the course. So you got to finish that survey in order to get credit.
Also,
so we'll finish it next month, and we'll give them credit next month if they don't do it now.
They can check themselves if they click on grades on the left-hand side of the course. So I have a lot of people who email me and say, can you tell me if I finished the course? I don't need to. You could totally click on the word grades on the left and it will tell you there's only 3 assignments in those courses. 3. There is the intro survey, there is the scenarios, and there is the reflection survey. And they can click on each one from there if they're not finished with one of them. So they don't have to email the support inbox for that. They can check themselves. And as long as they have all 3 completed, they will get credit at the end of each month.
Well, and that's a reminder that one of our goals as a group is to always empower people. So going and looking at the grades allows them to be able to do it, but also when they're working with students as well, that students can go do this and check what they've got going on. And as a reminder, we push that out once a month because it is a process for us. It takes a little while, so we only do it on a monthly basis. And lastly, as we always say, PowerSchool changes to Canvas can take 24 to 72 hours to process. So just be mindful. We've had some tickets that came in and said the student was added this morning, but I can't find them. Be patient, please. So. All right, we go back to the home agenda. Jake, I'm going to let you take this one. I like the pretty HTML editor. This is a preview of something that's coming. If you've subscribed to the release notes and read those, you may have seen this. But on the slide here, gives a screenshot example of what's coming with the pretty HTML editor. Jake, you should be able to screen share.
Yep.
Let me expand this window. All right.
Yeah, so it is not live today. What you're seeing will be in Canvas on February 20th when this releases. We want to just get in front of it and let you all see what's possible. So I'm in what's called our beta instance. It's just a instance of Canvas that has everything we have, but it gets refreshed every week. You can modify things without damaging what's in production here. So when you're editing, the editor, the typical toolbar and everything stays the same. But when you click on the HTML editor down here, which not a lot of people use it, but it is really nice to know about it. Now, when you click on it, you will see a really much more useful syntax for HTML. You'll see the element tags like paragraph and hyperlink tags, the P and the A that you see there in green are indicating these are HTML tags that kind of indicate what kind of content is inside of it. So that A is actually a hyperlink, and you can see it has a class of button, and these different buttons give you different colors. So it's a lot easier to read compared to this is what it used to look like. It just looked like text, and recognizing what is HTML tag and what is the actual content inside of it. It's just a lot easier to read when it's when you've got that HTML concept. So I'm going to show you even more where it becomes even more handy when you have an intense homepage like on our Canvas admin here. Shout out to both Justin and Amy for the excellent design on that homepage. We've got lots of different element tags here, divs and images, and it just highlights a lot better, letting you see what is happening on your page in HTML. If anyone is ever editing HTML for their job, they would want this kind of view. So it's really exciting that Canvas is putting that in natively. I think it will help a lot of people learn HTML and be less intimidated by it because of the highlighting. It will make it a lot easier to read and recognize what this content really, what the structure of HTML is, and be able to fix errors much more quickly by editing HTML.
Well, and I think it makes it easier for people to approach being more advanced with their pages. As we were talking about it this morning, how much more use people have with Canvas over the last year. This allows them to take the next steps.
Yeah. So I know a lot of teachers who end up in the HTML rabbit hole when they end up embedding something on a page, such as a Google slideshow is the number one reason a teacher will come to me and say, I need help editing this because I don't want the black bars above or below, or I want it to be centered and the regular rich text edit or rich content editor is not letting me do it. Or I want it to be full screen or any of those kinds of things. Those are things you can do with the HTML editor before. And with it being a pretty HTML editor, you're able to find it so much easier. And that's not an Amy name, by the way. That is what Canvas is calling it. It is called the pretty HTML feature. So it is
That sounds like
legit.
an Amy name.
It
though,
does.
doesn't it?
I'm willing to bet she put something in there, like a request. Can you make it pretty?
You think it was me on the Canvas community? I mean, maybe, but no, I would have called it that. But it definitely is more helpful. I do find a lot of teachers want to be able to edit HTML, and they don't even know that they want to edit the HTML. They just know that they want to make it do something, and then they go find someone else on the internet who's done it, and they show them how to do it in the HTML. But a lot of times teachers feel a little overwhelmed by that because that HTML just looked terrible before. But now this is a little bit easier to kind of hunt through and figure out what it is you want to modify. I think it makes it a lot more user-friendly.
Well, Jake, on this page alone, switch to the raw. So go back to the HTML and look at this one in raw. I mean,
Gonna be painful.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, when you start embedding hyperlinks that scroll multiple lines like Google Docs, it just gets really difficult to view it.
Especially with buttons. Yeah, images that are those are fun.
Yeah.
So Jake, if you'll stop sharing, I'm gonna reconfigure me back here. There we go. So if you're seeing that HTML editor and it looks like a foreign language, it looks like the matrix, on the screen for you, which is what my wife always says when I'm coding, that's fine. One of the things that we put a link here for is Learning HTML course. This is something called Codecademy. And I remember many years ago when Jake and I were talking about how to teach people Google Apps Script. And I said, Jake, what do you think about using Codecademy? He's like, well, I cut my teeth on Codecademy. And I have too. So their HTML course is a good place to start to help to learn the syntax and the structure. And really, once you get down HTML is not bad. It's not bad at all. But it opens the doors to the next things like CSS and JavaScript, and you start to go down that rabbit hole, as we like to call it.
It's the gateway to web development.
Yeah. And I took my son to a thing about HTML, and he remembers, like they described it as HTML is the bones, the CSS is the skin of the body, and the JavaScript is the joints. And that helped him remember it. So
very cool.
The next thing we're going to get into is a little trick that we use to work in Canvas faster. And I've got to adjust my screen over here. So the stream might become a little messed up. I'm going to apologize now for that. I have to bring my address bar down in order to show that. So, and there we go. So it's okay. Custom search engine. So this is a trick we use when we want to search something very quickly. And I don't want to go through all the steps of clicking into Canvas, then clicking on admin, then clicking on people and all of that. So on the slide here, we're going to utilize what's called the Omnibox. If you took the Google, what was it? Google Level 3 certification courses,
long time ago.
Yeah, we did a bunch of certification courses, and back in the old days, they used to reference the Omnibox in the exams. And I know that was the first time I heard the term, and it's actually much more dynamic now than it used to be than just a simple URL bar. So the Omnibox is this area up here in the top that the arrow is pointing to. And what you're able to do is create a custom search engine. And if you watch the GIF here, I put in the word see user. You notice this changes, and then I put in the word my talent, and now it's actually searching for it. So I'm going to do just a quick, bigger example, and hopefully you guys can see it. If I do see user, it changes, and I'm going to do my talent so I don't have any data. And now it goes directly into admin, directly into people, and it has searched all of the people that fit that role, or that name, if you will. You can also set one up for courses and do the same thing. So what we want to show you is how to do this. And I'm going to, Jake, if I go too fast, tell me, because I will on this one. It's not very difficult. It's just something brand new. So in order to set this up, the first thing you need to do is get your account number. So if you notice in my URL in the picture here, I actually went into the sub account of Huff High School, and after the word accounts is a number, 171. That is the sub account for Huff High School. When Jake and I are working in Canvas, you'll notice in my URL up here, my sub account is number 1. So each school has their own sub account. So what we recommend first is, go back one, is go to your admin settings. And then once you get into the admin settings, you'll want to write down and keep that number for your school sub account because you'll be using that later. Now, and this works only in Chrome, right, Jake? I've never done it in Mozilla.
I don't know if Mozilla has custom search, but I mean, it doesn't have to be Google specific.
Okay. So we're in Chrome. The first step is on the upper right corner, the 3-dot icon. You're going to open up that menu and go to settings right here. Once you're in settings, and the wording on this was killing me yesterday, you're going to search in the search bar to search in the settings for search engine. That's a lot of searches. Amy's laughing at me. I was trying to get this one right, Amy. But basically,
that's the most meta sentence ever.
The most what?
Search about searching. Meta sentence ever. I'm going to search about searching about searching.
Right. It's just, so I'm going to go to settings. And in the settings, I'm going to go to search engine just to make sure we narrow it down. And you're going to click on this one right here. So my default is Google. It's the only one I've got on here. But if I click search engines, now I can manage different search engines, which I like how they add them. You know what I mean? That sites will add their own search engines. So once you have opened up manage the search engines, you're going to add a new one. And a window is going to appear. And this is the one that I used. Jake, what do you use for user? You use the same thing, C user?
Yeah, C user.
I just use 1C. I just use 1C. 1C is for users, 2Cs is for courses for me. But I like very abbreviated ones.
So the challenge is if you put a space after your keyword, it will default to searching that.
Yes.
Right. And there's a way to escape it, but it's not like you have to click there to ignore the custom search.
Yeah, because I have a D for Drive, a C for users, and a CC for Canvas courses.
So if Amy types D space, the Chrome knows that it's searching Drive. And then C space, it's searching Canvas users.
No, I don't know if I have my Drive one set up anymore. I don't. Okay. I used to have a YouTube one, but then every time I typed the word U, that messed me up.
Yeah.
So anyways, what I would recommend is name your search engine something clear so that you know what it is later on if you forget. Your keyword is something that you're going to remember. So for searching users, I use C user. When I'm searching for a course, I do CC. And then this is what you're putting in the URL for the query. So it's the typical domain CMS https cms.instructure.com/accounts, and this is the key right here. So if you're the tech contact at Huff, instead of 1, you would put 171. So whatever your school's account is, you'd put there, and then follow it with users search _term equals %s, and you add it. That's how you set up a custom search engine to search all of Canvas for your instance in your sub account to look for users. And you can search different ways. You can do names, email addresses, student ID numbers, partials. Those are ways to do it. So what we recommend is set it up and try it.
Yeah. It really is helpful when a teacher comes to me and is asking about something in their course or something's not working. I search for them as a user, and then I'm able to see all of their courses and kind of jump in and out of which course they're talking about. I use it for students to see if they have all the enrollments they're supposed to have. It's just helpful. Honestly, my Google Drive one is still my favorite custom search engine though, because I search my Google Drive that way. I don't ever go to drive.google.com. Like I always custom search engine it, but I also am really good at remembering to name my stuff in a way that I can find it from a custom search engine query, which takes thinking and being intentional about how you name your files too though.
Indeed.
And again, once you're set it up to use it, it is, I don't know, do you guys use the space or the tab? I always use the tab.
I use the tab.
So C user, tab, and then my talent searches and finds it. So again, it's a lot faster than clicking on admin, clicking on Charlotte Mecklenburg schools and going from there. So We also provided instructions. Again, you're repeating the random messages you get on the side. Apparently, our milk is yucky. That's what I just got from the kids. Yay,
Aw.
poor guy. He found out the hard way. But again, we've given instructions on how to do the course search as well. And apparently, I didn't do a good job of renaming this. This should be Canvas course. So when I copied and pasted, I didn't change it. I'll do that here in a second. And I didn't change. Boy, I really struggled here, didn't I? Let me change this real quick. Sorry about this. This is distractions like milk being yucky will cause errors like this. So, Amy, you said you use CC.
Yeah, for Canvas courses, I use CC. I will say, like, it's taken me time to remember C versus CC, and I definitely end up searching the wrong one sometimes, but it works for me. I probably should have done U for users. Like, if I had not already gotten used to what I've got set up, I would suggest like a different letter. But I only
cool thing
do short. Yeah.
You're teaching yourself something that'll help you. You know, like you can define what you want to learn about this. So you want to learn C or CU or C user. Like you're defining that.
I've gotten very good, like the muscle memory of Control T to open up a new tab and then start to type C user. I've gotten very good at that. But like Amy says too, sometimes I'll want to search for a course, but by default go to a user. So
yeah, it's easy to do. It's muscle memory, but it's also kind of cool that you can create your own and customize it. Like I know plenty of people I've helped set up like a Google Drive custom search engine, and they do like Google Drive and they spell out the word Google Drive. To me, that's just way too long, but that's what works for them. So that's fine. Like it's all about like how you feel comfortable using it. You got to set it up to what works for you.
So this is a great little trick that we use to search to navigate around faster and be a little bit more efficient with it. So I think that's all we got on the agenda today. Don't forget, before I forget, consultations are open. So if you're in the course, over here on the left, admin consultations, if you click that, set it up. We've got times available. Jake, don't let me forget to run some more dates. But fill out the form, choose a date, and then we'll meet you in a meeting virtually. And, good option for everybody. So, questions. Let's see what we got. We got 3. Jake, you do a better one of these.
Some older ones here. Nisha, I'm going to start with yours. I hope you already addressed this yourself, but just so everyone else can see it and hear what we have. A parent is having trouble logging into Canvas, saying they're not seeing the school when they try logging in. So using the Canvas app, and you have to identify what school you're in, you should type CMS. It will not look for a specific CMS school. It is just CMS is what you're looking for, and then Charlotte Mecklenburg Schools. And then there's a couple of options there. There is a parent option, which would take them to the correct login. If they chose student, it would take them to NC Ed Cloud, and that's not going to work for a parent. So they choose the parent option. Once they choose select or type in CMS to find Charlotte Mecklenburg Schools, then it will work from there. That would then be a help desk ticket or asking around. Nisha, I'm hoping someone gave you a good answer before now, but that is definitely what's going on there. Is there anything going on with Canvas today? And this was last week. I've not heard of, we didn't know of anything causing iPads to freeze or anything like that. So
I would suggest going to canvas.cmslearns.org and clicking on the parent tab or the parent button, and it'll take you those directions. And in those directions, it does tell you to search for CMS instead of searching for a specific school. So if you do get stuck or a parent gets stuck with the process of signing up, we do have those directions embedded in canvas.cmslearns.org. And that way parents can kind of follow through those steps. Just thought it'd be a good idea to show where that's at.
And which one am I looking for?
You're looking for the ones that say how do I add it? I think parent observer accounts and pairing information.
Yep.
Second one from the bottom.
Oh, second one from the bottom. Thank you.
Yeah. It'll walk them through those steps.
Cool.
You could also Google it because Canvas is those steps are similar for everybody. But the problem is people are going to search for Butler High School, and so it is CMS, but that is in our directions.
That's a good point too, Jake, that I had forgotten about that it doesn't list the specific schools, but us as a district as a whole. So
Yeah.
thank you. Next one.
So Tracy is asking about an ELA course teaching both 6th and 7th grade. They want the courses combined into one. Can you cross list? Okay, it is physically possible. There's or technically possible. There's nothing in Canvas that will prevent you from cross listing the 6th grade sections into a 7th grade course, but you need to recognize some things. First off, any work they've done in the 6th grade course will be gone because they're being moved into the 7th grade course. Assignments will get really confusing. You have both 6th and 7th graders doing assignments, and I don't know if you want them doing the same assignments or you're going to assign just to specific sections, but that could get pretty dicey there. And grade pass back. It will not pass grades back to PowerSchool. When you have sections that are not of the same course in Canvas, I would expect PowerSchool grade passback will stop working. That's all I can think of as being big issues for that.
That's what I was thinking as well, with the grade passback is the big one. So
it's like, is it possible? Sure, you can drive on the right-hand side of the road as well, or left-hand side of the road, but you may have some bad experiences if you do. Is Code Academy free?
Yes and no. It depends on it, like everything. There are free options. So if you go into the HTML course, for example, I'm sure you can get a lot of free content there. Where they get the premium is if you want to take the extra. Like I'm taking a course on SQL right now. That one's more of a premium. When you're doing a course on HTML, they'll give you the basics and run through the lessons. But if you want to get those extra practice things that they have in there, that's where the premium comes in. So you can get some of the basics, yes, definitely from Code Academy and free. But if you want to do some more advanced stuff, then there might be a premium charge.
I typically do some of the free stuff and then I look for additional resources. Like I've bought a couple of books on HTML and CSS and JavaScript and that kind of stuff. And then I work through the books to kind of do a more advanced thing. If I really wanted to pay for something like Code Academy, I would, but sometimes a different resource also is a good idea. There's
You've got those
of them out there.
I need to get those books that you've got. The jQuery one.
I'm going to do a product suggestion because Jake taught me this one. So this line of books, A Smarter Way to Learn, are awesome. Like this is the one on HTML and CSS. I've got one on JavaScript and jQuery. And these are great ways, especially the HTML one. If you're just trying to feel more comfortable with HTML inside of Canvas, I think this one does a great job. It has exercises, but more importantly, it's only like one page per like content. Like it's one idea and you only have to learn one idea at a time. So it feels a little bit more bite-sized and less overwhelming because coding can feel overwhelming. I think these books do a great job of not feeling overwhelming, which is rare.
And if I remember correctly, they give you examples, don't they?
They do. And actually there's a website, you actually do the exercises with the book. So you're supposed to read a chapter, then do the exercise, then read a chapter. But a chapter is literally a page, maybe two. Like it's really impressively short and bite-sized to help you kind of process it.
And I know that's the way I learn.
The skill immediately. It's really cool.
Where I struggle.
They're cheap. Yeah, they're not bad.
I'm not good with the documentation, but give me an opportunity to play and try. Even the course I'm doing on the SQL, I'm playing and messing it up on purpose, but I'm learning. So that's good to know. So next one. How do I manually check added sections in a teacher's Canvas page? Teachers receiving grades.
Page means course.
Yes, that's why I hesitated. Teacher is receiving a grade sync error indicating an assignment cannot be created. I know it means a section has been manually added, but the teacher said she did not manually add anything. I can show you how to see the sections in a course, but this will be a ticket. So
yeah, that error may not indicate that the teacher created a section. That is a possibility. There could have been movement of sections in PowerSchool beyond the teacher's control that happened. There could be several factors. So
I find
just
sometimes, yeah, even a lot of students moving can break it. Sometimes the best fix to this is just to re-import the grade categories though,
Yep.
and then remaster.
So I'm on a course homepage. I'm going to go to settings and then sections. Of course, this one has one. But if the course had multiple sections, they would be here. They would tell you how many users are here. Be careful with this, how many users, because if a student has observers, the number is going to look inflated. So a class may only have 10 students, but you may be seeing 17 users. That's because the parents have joined. So if a
Also,
course,
the teacher counts.
yes,
The teacher also counts, which messes up with people. Yeah.
I won't click
Now,
on it, but
the question about how do I know if it's manually created, it will not have a SysID.
Yeah, you can see it there listed in that like list. It won't have anything besides this ID. It'll be colon, nothing.
so
Which is very important to learn.
And that SysID is a unique PowerSchool generated ID. So if it had words, it's probably not. Someone
Yeah.
probably typed an ID, just made up an ID. So
Yeah.
that would be how we do that.
So that's how you can tell though. It's manually added. It's either it doesn't look like the other ones with SysIDs or it doesn't have an SSID. That's how you can tell if it was manually created.
I think this came through in a ticket, actually. I saw this somewhere. It says we have a few.
So,
go ahead, Jake.
yeah, it's a question about student teachers and not student teachers that have not been provisioned with our Lawson, our provisioning system, and so they don't have PowerSchool, so they don't have Canvas account. How do you get student teachers Canvas accounts? You submit a request in Cherwell. Contractors we cannot do. Student teachers we can. So we need that documented in the request. This is a student teacher, and this is their email address. There's a queue for requesting non-CMS users and a student teacher request.
And Tracy, if you're submitting this, please know that there's a process that's something that the student teacher has to do as well. So Jake wrote a script that we will send them an email. They have to complete a form. And once they complete a form, then the account gets created. So there is something for them to do as well. It's a user agreement, is it not? An AUP?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Whoever submits it's responsible for that user.
Cool. I clicked the wrong thing. I have a PLC who wants to modify quiz answers for EC or EL students. They can modify the answers, but they want the format a word such as putting bold, something like the word is not. Also, is there an easy way to assign one test to EL students and the regular test to regular ed students?
Yeah.
So let's do this one at a time. The first part.
Good.
Yeah, there's a couple ways to do this.
New quizzes would have the ability to edit the really
Yeah.
the text formatting for answer choices is much more extensive in new quizzes, not classic.
Yeah, which we would encourage people to start moving towards new quizzes anyway, because eventually Canvas is going to take away classic quizzes. So now is the time to play and get used to new quizzes. They were originally supposed to sunset that next month. They've passed that back a little bit, but that is coming eventually. One thing that I would suggest is make your regular version first. Then you can go to the assignments page, click on the three dots and click duplicate. That will create a duplicate of the assignment. And then in that new assignment, you can make those modifications. The key piece here is knowing how to use the assign to box at the end of the assignment. So in the assignment itself, at the very bottom, you have to go to assign to. You can type in the students who need to take that version of the assessment. Now, two things to be aware of. You're now going to have two versions of that assignment. My suggestion is that you assign the EL version to EL students, but then you type their grade into the regular assignment and you only pass the regular assignment to PowerSchool. I say this so that you don't end up with two of those assignments in PowerSchool, and you don't end up with all of your other students confused as to why they're seeing one that they didn't take. If you don't do it that way, you're going to end up pushing both of them, and one is going to have some grades and one's going to have everybody else's grades. So that's my suggestion on how to manually do that. Now, as far as bolding and stuff inside of the question, I think it depends on the question type for new quizzes. Some of the question types for new quizzes do not have the full rich content editor yet. But that's also true for classic quizzes. This is something Canvas is working on. Justin is showing you right here, though. The toolbar is there for bolding. So bolding, I think you would be fine to do. I think if you click on a question, can you click on one of the answer choice options, Justin?
I don't think it does.
I don't think it does either yet.
It does.
I think it only does in a question. Oh, no, it does. Yeah, it popped up.
Now, where it doesn't and where it might be tripping people up is this the question title. Because remember how many times that's messed me up?
Yeah,
the question title doesn't have it, but it does have it here.
The question title is like saying multiple choice section. It's not actually where you put the question. The question stem is where you do. And I know that's confusing. It's actually also was like that in classic quizzes, but the way the box appeared, most people didn't type in that box because it was kind of top left and kind of out of the way. That same feature existed in classic quizzes. It's just in a different location. And it's more of the tempting to click in location now, I think. But that would be my suggestion. And that's how a lot of my teachers have handled it. It's the assign to box is so important, though.
So I was curious if the HTML editor is here or not.
It's not yet.
Okay.
Nope.
I had to look.
It's not the full rich content editor yet. There's stuff still missing.
Next question is from Christine. And Christine, thank you for reminding me she's the one that's really good with reminding me to put the videos up because I always forget. So she's on me with that, and I appreciate it. Are there tutorial resources for Spanish-speaking families? I have a kindergarten student that grandma needs Spanish directions to get into classes in Canvas on an iPad and how to navigate the dashboard.
Canvas guides. You want to show your screen and go to Canvas guides from inside?
Yeah, they're all in Spanish.
Yeah. So I already went to it. So if you do the Canvas guides and go to the mobile section, do iOS, she said iPad, scroll to the bottom for the directions in English on iOS, then you have the other language options there.
So where am I going? Student, iOS?
Open the guides
I did.
Then go to mobile.
Yep.
Yeah, I can't see your screen the way we're delayed. Go to mobile and then the iOS for parents or observers.
Parents, there it is. I forgot about the color.
Yep. And then if you scroll to the bottom of those directions, there's the language options. So you could copy the link for the Spanish information and share that with grandma.
Cool.
Yep, guides in Espanol. Yep.
See that? Cool. Thank you.
Top right.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool. They have them all. Yeah. They're pretty good about it.
And next question. That's funny.
I think she's kind of curious on that one.
I was gonna say I kind of love it. I will say it's under $20, which I was pretty impressed with. When Jake originally recommended it to me, I thought it was gonna be way more because a lot of time coding books are. I originally got them on my Kindle. I wanted physical books for once. It's rare for me.
I bet you can get them at the library though.
Oh yeah, you definitely could get them from the library, I'm sure. So that would be Charlotte Mecklenburg Library is still open and they are super awesome. You should definitely, and you have a CMS One Access account. I'm gonna put on my Stephanie Farron hat as a media specialist and tell you have One Access through your CMS account and you can log in through your CMS credentials. And if not, see your media specialist. They can help you with that process.
And that reminded me, a shout out to Stephanie Farron. We know that she's doing a ton behind the scenes beyond not only beyond her role, but beyond her school. So we wanted to make sure we give Stephanie a shout out. Her name came up in a conversation with someone else and they're like, yeah, I've been reaching out to Stephanie. And so just thank you, Stephanie, for all you do because you are awesome. So
she is really awesome.
Yeah. All right, next one. Parents sent this message. Since Friday, I'm trying to upload a video for homework and I can't, and this appears when I upload the video. User storage quota exceeded. This is happening in kindergarten math Canvas course assignments. Parent has tried deleting all the old videos and still not able to upload current video. Jake, thoughts on this one?
Okay, that will require a ticket.
Yeah.
Definitely include the URL for the course and the specific assignment and the user. Couple of things could be going on there. One alternative that we would highly recommend is upload to Google Drive and submit using Google Drive instead of uploading directly to Canvas.
Like a link.
Yeah.
Yeah, doing a share
But
link.
yeah, as far as support for that, that would be a couple of ways to work through that. So we can test some things, but also try an alternative method for submitting video, like uploading to Google Drive to submit. Also, the length of the video and the stability of their network have an effect. And users in your home, you might think, oh, my network is great, nothing's wrong at all. And last week mine went out dead, did not work for last video I was tethered to my cell phone trying to do this the live stream here. So you never know for sure how your network is. Most people don't test their bandwidth regularly to see what's going on, but it's possible that the network, your upload speeds suddenly dropped significantly and it was unable to upload that video in a time frame of minutes. So it just timed out. So things can happen. It might be just fine if they tried it now. There's a lot of variables to this. So like we can put in a ticket and we can troubleshoot some things, but we may not even be able to identify anything wrong with Canvas or storage quotas on the Canvas side. It could just be the network on that end. Unfortunately, the notification messages are not real clear when it comes to video uploads because it's all over the place and unsure which is actually causing it.
Next one is from Holly as well, from one of my teachers about her first grade student's Canvas course. Student is trying to submit a picture to literacy on Canvas. When she goes to her library to pull the picture to submit, it only shows videos. I'm not sure on that one.
That's a new one to me. I don't know.
Have to see it. So again, this will be another instance. Submit a ticket. Make sure you give us the specific URL, student ID, so we can take a look, because this seems to baffle all of us on this one.
I'm going to check the student guides right now. So Holly, if I find it before you do in the student guides, as I tell my children when they lose things, if I find it, can I hit you with it? Just kidding. Yeah. I'll look for it.
Let's see, iOS student.
I will say a lot of the students seem more comfortable though with submitting from Google Drive. So there is always that Google Drive tab that they can submit from. And if the students uploaded it to Google Drive, it's pretty easy for them. And if they've done it on their Chromebook or iPad, it's probably in their Google Drive.
And those of you that are watching as I'm searching here, another cool little trick that I remember was mind blown when it was shown to me, Control F. So Control F allows me to search a page very quickly. So Control F, if I click the word submit, and then I can just hit enter and go through all the different instances where the word appears. And this works just about on any web page. Did you find it, Jake?
It's saying tap the files link and you would see different files. Like you can record video. If you did record, your only option is video. You can't take a picture. You have to do video. But if you go to submit files, you can.
It might be how the assignment's configured. What file types is the teacher allowing the student to submit, Holly? That's an important piece. So if the teacher is only allowing certain file types related to a video, I think that will not allow the student to select any file type that doesn't match what the teacher is allowing to be submitted. So you might also want to have the teacher just check and see what file types they're allowing. Honestly, I never restrict file types because students are using many different devices sometimes, but that could be what's going on there, is the teacher could have selected MP4 or a certain type of file typing.
Justin, I just put the link. It breaks down the different options from the mobile app. About halfway down the screen, you'll see It'll have at the bottom a bunch of numbers across the bottom of the app under choose a file. There's like audio, camera, library files, scanner.
Oh yeah.
Camera is video. Scanner will scan a file.
Cool.
Or you can do files link to select a file that you've already saved. So it should bring up pictures if you choose files.
So that makes me think that Amy's onto something with the
think
file
so.
types.
Yeah, that would be my guess.
Good find, Jake. What I'd like to see
Sounds
is how
like-
you're going to hit me with it.
The student
Yeah.
guides are pretty awesome. I've had students, like, I send them back to students, and they do a great job of understanding them.
Yeah. They're better than some of our developer guides in terms of understanding.
Developer guide, they expect you to know all kinds of things that you might not know if you don't have a
No.
CS degree.
Man, I struggle with those.
Hours and days.
So if you got questions, continue to submit j.mp/ITPD office hours. Got about 14 minutes left. Jake, I thought it'd be a good time to do a little show and tell too,
Okay.
because I finished my Legos this weekend.
Oh,
So I did a bonsai tree, if you will. And I even went off script. That was awesome. My little one loves to do Legos. And he's like, "You're not following the instructions?" I'm like, "No." And it was just like, "That's crazy, Dad. Why would you do that?" So it was fun to do. I needed it. Good and relaxing.
of all Lego directions, a bonsai tree should have some variation.
Right?
Right?
Well, they gave you like two very distinct options of going all green or all pink. And I kind of did in between. The best part was if you look it up online, some of the pink, it's all frogs.
Huh.
So there are tiny little frogs. I have one somewhere. Where did I put him? I don't know. Or my little one took him. But there are little frogs that make up the color. So,
Yeah.
but it was fun. It was a good little project the other day. So,
Cool. All right. Well, yeah, we guess we'll see y'all next week. Please, again, submit ITPD office hours. Any questions, topics you want us to cover, things that you think. I mean, you're tuning into it. This is for you. If there are things that you feel we could explain more, please let us know. We're coming up with our topics based on what we are anticipating from what we see and hear. But if there's other things, other directions we should go, please let us know that, and we are happy to do this. This is for you, so let's make it as effective for you as we can.
and don't forget about the consultation option. When we meet with a couple principals last week and a couple tech contacts as well, and just they wanted to sit down and go through the GradeSync and learn how to do it to better support their school. So that's a good option for that as well. Oh, we did have a question come in. It says, "I have a new teacher that I'm working with to embed a slideshow in a Canvas course. When they attempt to embed, it will not recognize her Google account. Any ideas?"
Probably signed into multiple Google accounts.
Yeah.
Very, very likely. Way you can test that, by the way, the number one way you can know that it's an account conflict issue is go try to do whatever it is you were trying to do in incognito mode. If it works, then guess what? It's an account conflict issue. So that's when you want to go to those directions Justin is showing you. This teaches them how to log out of all of their Google accounts, completely clear out their Google Chrome browser, then log into one at a time in a different profile so they can then toggle between profiles and not end up with an account conflict issue. This is very important because your CMS account has very different permissions than a personal account, and the two will fight. And oh my gosh, if the person also has another enterprise account, like for example, they're taking college classes somewhere, they will have even more issues because they will have multiple accounts with different levels of permissions. So it's very important that they follow multiple profiles inside of Google Chrome. If you go to click on your little icon and you see more than one account logged in, it's no good. It will cause issues at some point for that person.
And one little trick is if you go to Drive, and this is how I always helped people to school, go to Drive and click here. this will tell you right away. If
Yep.
and what can happen is up here at the very top, you can see I've got multiple accounts. I've got a lot of accounts up here. Those are separate instances. But if I go here and I look at manage your Google account, the first thing I see is here is my CMS email. If you see another account right here, you're going to have issues. There's going to be conflict. So those instructions that we put in the reminders, the bit.ly/CMS Google account, use those. Amy made those. She uses those with her staff regularly. We've used them with other people, and that'll help them clarify what's going on with their accounts. If it continues to be an issue and you've done all the troubleshooting, then that would be a ticket. No, that looks like it. I hear crying downstairs. That's about right. So,
All right. Well, y'all have a good week. And we'll. Oh, Andrew, following up, is there a way to see only my school in SIS integration? No,
No.
unfortunately, that we discovered late this when we were explaining it last week. We assumed so because that would make sense how it would work, but it doesn't. It shows everyone's, so it's not as useful a resource as we initially had thought for you to see the SIS integration, because it will report every single SIS integration across the district. So you got to hunt and peck for your users.
Yeah, and if you're a Canvas admin, the best way might be to go look at a user's course that's having trouble and go look at their grade sync page. It'll probably be faster for you. Thank you, everyone. Hope you have a good week, and we'll see you next week.